the password.
Fortunate thing though is we've had zero.
Never has, like,
last
Huh.
year.
John has always had to do it.
That's weird.
I know, but I am too, so.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
My daughter's favorite. The refreshers at Starbucks,
Pardon me?
the lemonade.
All right,
First
stand
time
by.
They literally have no iced tea at Starbucks.
All right, we're live.
Thank you very much. This is the Monday, May 6, 2024 meeting of the City of Lacey Civil Service Commission meeting. Calling the meeting to order. Roll call present today are myself, Amanda Vage, Commission Chair, Commissioner Madeline White, Commissioner Mark Brown. Also present, Leilani Jensen, Human Resource Director, Vanessa Medford, Human Resource Analyst, Civil Service Commissioner and Examiner and Secretary. Chief of the Lacey Police Department, Robert Almeida, Deputy Chief Hollis, got it right this time. And I don't believe we have anyone else present, is that correct? All right, I do not understand whether we have any members of the public present, I don't believe so. Nope. All right, I would call please for a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. I would call for approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 5, 2024.
So approved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, I will ask if we can have a vote on that, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that takes us to number 5, public comment. Do we have any public comment? We do not. We do not. Very good. Let's move on to the agenda items. We have the command staff quarterly report. Chief.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see everybody today. From Q1 of this year, entry level, we had 41 applications for entry level, and we also had 5 lateral applications. Of those 46 applications, 11 were disqualified at the application phase.
Could you say that again?
11
Okay.
were disqualified at the application phase. 6 were disqualified at the oral board phase. 5 were disqualified at the guardian phase, and that generally means they didn't submit documents in a timely fashion. 3 were disqualified after meeting with me. And then none were disqualified that were put into backgrounds. 7 withdrew of their own accord. Currently, 14 were still in process as of March 31st.
Well, that's quite whittling.
So, and that of course has changed now that we're in May. All right, we had a few officers leave in Q1. We lost 1 officer to the port police, and we lost 1 officer to the county. We're currently working on filling those positions. As you know, we promoted Lieutenant Barnes in the prior quarter, and we had now pending June 1st, we'll have our 2nd lieutenant appointed, Lieutenant Walden. So those are both pending. Well, actually, Walden's pending. Barnes is currently working on her first rotation as lieutenant. That's really all I had reported this time.
When do your commanders retire?
I have 1 commander that will be leaving on medical leave in November, probably departing and resigning in Q2 of next year. And the 2nd commander will be retiring probably later in next year. Then we'll go to a full lieutenant model. We'll have no more commanders at that time.
So by the end of 2025, we will be fully in the lieutenant.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's what we anticipate.
All right. Anything else, recruits?
Nope, that's all I had to report this
All
time.
right, thank you, sir.
Does that include both A and B that you've just done?
Yes.
Okay, then I have a question if I may.
Yes.
So I hope you don't mind, this is a little afield from our limited role. But I hope you don't mind a quick question on high-speed pursuits. Obviously, tremendous amount of publicity of late in this regard. And I followed what the legislature did, and I'm hoping that they've struck something that will be in effect soon that gives us more balance than what we had before. I witnessed my first high-speed pursuit 3 Saturdays ago, maybe 4 Saturdays ago, while I was in the Starbucks parking lot down here at the corner of College and Lacey Boulevard. And it's petrified to see the speeds that this person, idiot. It was unbelievable. And then there were 4 Lacey PD in pursuit and 3 sheriffs. So there were 7 cars heading north. This isn't the one that ended up going south and causing all of that. This was actually a day or two before. You probably know more about it, obviously, than I do, but this is one that ended up northbound on I-5. And according to the press, we stood down at the Nisqually River and those folks up there took over. I've never seen anybody driving so fast. I mean, think that this was on College Street, it's almost unimaginable. But what I wanted to ask you is the sheriff has gotten a lot of publicity of late over a couple of resources that he'd like to be able to employ in regards to high-speed chases. I'm not going to talk to you about helicopters because I don't even know how practical that is for us. But I am intrigued by this request he made of the county commissioners and wondering if we're thinking about deploying this. And this is something called a grappler. And did a little Googling over the weekend, and apparently it's an apparatus that sits on the bumper of our cars. And in a high-speed pursuit, it would project a projectile to the car they're chasing, and somehow that penetrates or sticks to that vehicle. So then you're able to fall back from the high-speed aspect and basically know exactly where that car and driver are at and find other means of intervention. So the sheriff has asked for a $56,000 appropriation for one or more of those. And do we use those here in Lacey? Is that something we've thought about?
Well, you're combining 2 different products. One is a tracking device that sticks to the car.
Okay.
That's the first one you spoke of. The grappler is different.
Okay, what
That's
is
an entanglement device that basically snares the rear wheel, drive wheels of the fleeing vehicle in an attempt to stop it
Okay.
in a very energetic
Robot.
termination to the pursuit. If you've ever seen an axle come to a sudden stop, it's not very comfortable at that point. So the sheriff has decided that it would be good to pilot those programs, and I'm looking forward to see how that proceeds.
What is the projectile there that tags the car? So
I would leave that to the vendor to explain. It's a tracking mechanism, whether it's satellite or
Think of an
archive.
air tag.
Air
yeah, but
tag.
it shoots it.
Well, it has to attach to the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a salesperson, so I couldn't tell you how it
Yeah.
works or why it operates or I'm
Huh.
a market for that company. I'm aware of another agency in Washington attempting to use that device. They have not had great success with
They
it.
have not.
We may have a different experience here in Thurston County, I do not know. But he is pursuing that avenue, he's pursuing other avenues. He also has a more expansive view of pursuits than this agency does and that I do. And again, I leave that to the sheriff, to his jurisdiction. The chase that you were talking about was a guy involved in a felony assault involving a firearm. That was the person we chased. As far as the changes in the legislature, they've reverted back to where pursuit policy will be decided by the local jurisdiction, not at the state level. So that legislation has gone by the wayside. So it's back to where we were prior to that, as of June 7th officially. Currently, we're still operating under the old law as it phases out, because there was a 90-day break-in period from the signing. So that's our status. As far as any technologies for interception or anything like that, I'll leave to another day. Frankly, it's just not something that we're looking at right now. I haven't seen that as being more effective than our current technology of using stop sticks and other mechanisms to intervene in pursuits. Also, the quantity of our pursuits is less than others. So I'll leave that there. Any other part to your question?
No, I appreciate that.
Okay,
I'm thankful you have that tool back.
so it's an effective tool and it's important to have the availability of that tool.
Absolutely.
Frankly, our Grand Theft Autos more than doubled. Once people knew, once they got into a car, they pretty much couldn't be touched. So that's a concern. And when appropriate, pursuits are an effective technique.
Absolutely.
However, requires a great deal of training by the officer and also a great deal of supervision by the on-duty supervisor. They're high liability events, and we take them as such, and we're constantly evaluating what's going on and making sure that the risk to capturing the suspect does not outweigh the benefit. So.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we will now turn to the civil service rules definition change. I'm gonna hand that over to you, please.
Fantastic.
So thank you.
So in the previous meetings, we've made the adjustments to the civil service rules, and the last remaining item was the amendment to the seniority definition. This is something that we spoke of in the last meeting, so I would request a vote on making that change.
Did you have any feedback or input from the applicable parties?
I did not receive any feedback.
All right,
This was reviewed by the guild.
Yeah, it was sent to the
Aware
guild.
of-
Mhm.
So I'll move approval of the amendment to the civil service rules as presented today.
Second.
all right, any further discussion? I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and with that, are we now able to approve all of the rules, or was that the last component we needed to do?
We had already approved the rules and we moved to make this amendment and then just get this page into the rules.
So we have official rules now?
Yes, we do. And they were just finally signed by our remaining commissioner today,
Excellent.
so those will be available shortly.
All right, yeah, cool. Any other business? Love to adjourn quickly.
Yeah, my store got broken into last night,
Oh, no,
former store.
former store. Oh, Lord. All right, I'm gonna end the
Broke
meeting.
down the-
If we can do
Okay,
that
sorry.
first, and then we can tell stories, I would love to do that. All right, and with that being said, I would like to conclude the May 6th meeting.
Move we adjourn.
We are adjourned.
You guys know anything about it?